You are now listening to the Vitalize podcast. Hey yo, what up, family? Welcome back to the Vitalize podcast. You are here with your friendly neighborhood host, Mr. Marcus Black, and I'm so incredibly excited, elated, ecstatic. I don't even know when I started saying that, but I just love it, and it just flows naturally, and I'm a sucker for alliteration. Look at me, man, learning my literary devices. If you're new here, you're like, what is happening? M Black Speaks is happening, fam. You getting hit with a burst of energy. If you've been a little sleepy, a little tired, a little sluggish, then you came to the right place, because I'm about to literally be, I said this one time and it's stuck ever since. I was like, let me be your spinach like Popeye. But ultimately what I'm saying is, if energy is your thing, if positivity is your thing, inspiration, motivation, affirmation, and you being able to be equipped with the practical steps to get up out here and go transform your life, to live your dreams and make those a reality, then you came to the right place. Welcome. And if you listen, there's no such thing as a second-time guest in this community. So once you pull up once, you part of the family, man. Welcome to the tribe. I'm just glad to have you here and to consider you family. Listen, all of you who sent me the DMs and you did exactly what we talked about. You went, you rated, you reviewed, you literally just put it out there. I want to, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the growth. And I will be here soon choosing someone at random to come on to the show and we tell your story to the world. Literally the world. I've been telling y'all we're in 55 countries. We just added another one. We're in 56 now. So I don't know how we were not in Japan before, but we just added Japan. So we have 56. And that warms my heart, you know, and that's a testament to those of you who listen. Many of you come. Podcast is kind of the place where people get to come, sometimes be entertained, but a lot of the times it's to be educated, it's to be inspired. Many of you listen while you're working out, while you're running, while you're walking. Several of you also listen on your commutes to and from work, picking up the kids, whatever. Some of you listen while you're cleaning up your house. You got me in your earbuds right now while you about to get that mop ready. Ooh, snap. But I just want you to know that you listen because of what's inside of you. You don't listen because of me. You might listen because I resonate with you, but it ain't really about me. You listen because it gives you not only the keys and the tools, but it gives you that feeling on the inside to know that there's something more inside of you and that you want to start your podcast and you want to create a global brand and you want to share your story and you want people to invest in you to come out and come and impact hearts and lives of communities from stage. Maybe you want to get booked and paid to speak, or you want to create content. Listen. It not only is possible, it's probable if you're willing to get in the game and you are willing to take the steps. And this is what I want for you. I want you to take the steps, but you got to know what steps to take, and that's why you come here. So I just shout out y'all for literally coming and listening. And every time I tell you an accolade we cross about the countries we're in, about just all the things that are happening around me, I want you to see me as just a regular guy. I'm not some guru on the mountaintop. I'll never be that, looking down, telling people how to live. I'm not that. I'm a friend that's going to literally lock arms with you, grab you, and we going to the top together. I want to show you the way. And so when you see me do it, I want you to think, dang, if he can do it, I can do it. Because there's no difference between me and you. My brother, my friend, Mr. Trent Shelton always says, like, legends are literally just ordinary people who made extraordinary choices to go and give the world and make the world respect their greatness. And that's what this community is all about. So like that said, when we exchange the pleasantries, I got something for y'all today. And I know like you guys have been hearing about the sponsors, and I'm so grateful for the sponsors who've already reached out and taken care of. Like, shout out to today's sponsor, which is none other than Cam's Silk Screening and Designs. Oh my goodness. If you have ever rocked a Because You Can hoodie, a Because You Can t-shirt, anything with Because You Can on it, the merch, if you got the Together We Can, the OGs, the first shirt I ever created, I was just in Cam's print shop myself, and we literally cooking up something dope, something real dope that your boy gonna be hitting stages with. So be on the lookout for more merch. But if you ever worn that, and I've had people tell me like, yo, I bought a hoodie from you over 2 years ago and it hasn't cracked at all. Like it's still vibrant as the day I bought it. I'm like, yeah, that's because Cam's is literally like his place is incredible. His quality is next level. It's extraordinary. It's why my process is a little bit old school, because I go through a local vendor instead of using some of the other places, Printify, Printful. Those are great. But when I've used them, the quality has just literally like 5 washes and then the prints are cracking. So that said, this is why I go with somebody I trust. And I shout out to him for being a sponsor of today's episode. And listen, if you want to explore what it would look like for you to get your sayings, your phrases, your designs, like silk screen printed on some merch, then holler at your boy. Tell him I sent you. And this is all you got to do. No matter where you are, you don't got to live in my area. He can ship to you. And he has very competitive prices. So if you want to figure out more about how to do that, just literally go and visit camsprintshop.com. That's C-A-M-S, camsprintshop.com. Check them out, and you won't regret it. Look at it, man. See what it would cost. You can get a quote and just play with it. If you've ever been thinking about doing merch, and see what happens. The next thing I'll say is if you want to be a sponsor of an episode, shoot your boy a DM. Like you can send me an email, which you can find on my website, mblackspeaks.com, or you can hit me up on IG and send me a message and say, hey, how can my business or my brand get a shout out in front of all these people? Like just holler at your boy and we can talk about it just like that. So without further ado, thank you again, Cam, man. I appreciate it. The one and only. He's a legendary singer as well. We'll talk about that another time. But listen. I was thinking about my life and what some of the things that have been X factors for me in my growth and development. And I think about you and your growth and development and what can be an X factor. And so literally my process is you have somewhere you want to be. I have some places that I've gone. I might not be where I want to be, but I have made some waves and been able to really create a brand that is known literally around the globe, and people have literally desire me to come to other countries even. And we're working on a couple of international events now. And I'm like, how can I help the people who listen to me, the people who resonate with my message, the people who got a story to tell, the people who want to get their story out? How can I help you do that? And the greatest way I can do that is by reflecting on my own journey and seeing how I did it and coming back and giving that to you. And so one of the things I learned at an early age in this life, like I shout out to my pastor, man, growing up as a kid, he was like a father figure. He was an incredible human. I say was like he ain't still here. He is an incredible human being. Currently leading an incredible church where I'm from in my hometown, Hernando, Mississippi. Hey, hardly home, but always repping. Hernando, what up, H-Town? Hardly home, but always repping. And West Oak Grove Church of Christ, which is where your boy got his roots. That's where I got my early chops. That's where I learned much of what I know about life. My foundation came from the principles taught from my man, none other than a mentor, literally a father figure in my life, in my early life. And that is Mr. Terry Wallace, Terry Dwayne Wallace, Sr., that is. And literally his son, one of my best friends, Terry Dwayne Wallace Jr. Got to shout my people out when I get a chance. But one of the things he taught us at an early age was whenever you come from small town, right? You don't come from New York City. You don't come from Los Angeles, Miami. You don't come from Dallas, Houston, San Fran. You don't come from, some of these major Chicago, Chi-Town, stand up. We don't come from some of these major markets. You can start to really feel like, man, there's an expectation that you have to do what everyone else is doing. It's gotta look like everybody else is doing it. And it's almost like Moana, like no one leaves. Like, why would we ever leave? We got everything here. What reason is there to leave? You can go work at the Dairy Queen. You can go, and listen, this is no slight. Like some people, that is what they want to do. But when you are the person who grows up in that culture and in that community that feels a little divergent because you just wonder what's at the edge of the water you've been staring at for long as you can remember. When you look outside of your circumstances and you just feel like there must be more, but you don't know how to get to the more. You don't even know if you should even be thinking about more because everybody around you is telling you that you shouldn't. And when you grow up in these environments, and some of y'all live in cities and still have that environment, because there's people who live in cities who haven't been out of a 4-block radius and don't even know about the other things that are inside their own city that are available to you to create experiences in your life. So here you are, and this is where I was. And this incredible mentor, Mr. Terry Wallace, he would always say, son, the more you go, the more you know. And the more you know, the more you grow. And I didn't understand exactly what that meant when I was a kid. All I'd heard was the go part. So a lot of times he would take me with him and his sons, and we would go. And we would go to Indianapolis, and we would go all over Mississippi. We go to Alabama. We just taking these trips. We went to like just different cities. And I can remember being a kid from a small town in Mississippi and being exposed to other states, being exposed to travel early, being exposed to other opportunities and other cultures and other environments. And I remember thinking like, whoa, this is dope. I love this process. But you know what it did for me, honestly? It became a lifeline, because you guys know some of the most difficult moments in my life came in my childhood. Coping through different types of abuse, coping through addictions in the home, coping with all of these tough situations. And so being in a position where I got exposed to realize there's more outside of my small town in the world just gave me just enough hope to cling to, that if I were to keep pressing, that if I would just hold on just long enough, one day I would be under my own power and my own will, and one day I would have an opportunity to get up and get out and go, to see what all this big, beautiful world has to offer me. And that was a lifeline. I clung to that every time I was in a dark moment, when I was in a moment of despair, when I felt like throwing in the towel. I just clung to the hope that one day I want to get to go and see more of God's green earth. And I want you to think about yourself when you have those days. Come on now, rainy days are a part of it for all of us. You have a rainy day where you start to question your purpose. You have a rainy day where you start to question your worth, where you start to question if you even have something to say, if there's any meaning to the life in which you live, if all the pain that you're going through is worth it for you to even continue pressing forward. The answer is yes. Because there is a life outside of you that you cannot even fathom, just waiting on you if you hold on. Don't give up. I think it says in a very good book in Galatians 6:9, it says, listen, don't grow weary in doing good, for in due season, you're going to reap a harvest. Caveat being, if you do not give up. So don't grow weary in doing good. Hold on. Hold on, man. And this is what I want for you. So being exposed to these things, and maybe some of you are sitting here listening like, man, I've never been exposed to anything outside of my norm. I've never been outside of my town. I've never been outside of my state. I've never been outside the country. I've never been to places and environments where people think like me, where people are go-getters, where people are dreamers, where people literally want to get up and go and do something more than what anybody ever told them they could. And this is why I come to pour into you, because I can tell you that was the game changer for my life. Even though I didn't understand what it meant as a kid, I literally learned, seriously, the more you go, the more you know, the more you get exposed to, and the more you know, the more you grow, and the more you grow, the more you'll have the equipping to make your dreams a reality. So, in order for you to do that, I want to be able to help you. But I want to give you a couple of keys, three to be exact. I'm going to give you 3 keys to literally learning how to expose yourself to new experiences and to making your dreams become more of a reality. You guys are going to sense a recurring theme. As you begin to stack these episodes and listen week after week after week after week, you're going to see a common train of thought. I want your dreams to come true, fam. We don't talk about that enough in adulthood. They always ask you that when you're 5 and you have no idea what anything is. Sometimes they ask you that when you're 12, and then they start asking you, like, when you get 16, where you going to go to college and how you going to pay bills. They stop asking you, oh, snap, have you noticed that? that the older you get, people stop asking what your dreams are. They don't ask you that anymore. They want to know, what do you do? What do you do? Not what do you want to do? How do you pay your bills? And can you help me pay my bills? Is there a connection? But people don't care anymore about what you dream about. So if you listen to me, I'm going to continue the conversation of asking you, what are your dreams? In this moment, think about it right now. Reflect. What are your dreams? What are you hoping for? What do you want in this life? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want it to look like? Have you thought about it? If you have you put it on paper? Because you make it real then. Come on now. Don't let it be a pipe dream. I had this conversation with a dear beloved friend. It's like, how do I know my dream isn't a pipe dream? It's not a pipe dream when you take it from out of the sky and you put it on paper and you make it real. Uh-oh. Because you are more than capable of accomplishing that dream if you stay the course. If you do, matter of fact, here we go. I'm going to get right into these 3 keys so that we can make your dreams a reality. And so if I wanted to give you 3 things today, the first thing that I would tell you to do is literally go. I want you to go, family. So when I say go, I'm telling you, I want you to take a leap. I want you to literally, there's something that you've been wanting to do. There's a place. Maybe there's a place in the country. It ain't even got to be Miami Beach, South Beach. It doesn't have to be the biggest tourist destination. It doesn't have to be Hawaii. You don't got to go to the beaches and crystal clear waters of Mexico or in the Caribbean. You can go an hour away. Like for me, I live in OKC. We got Tulsa up the street. I could ride to Tulsa and have a new experience. I can be exposed to new people, new ideas. Matter of fact, shout out to them. I found a place in Oklahoma. We have an island inside the state of Oklahoma on Grand Lake called Shangri-La, and there's a resort there, and it's incredible. I found it. Took my wife for her birthday. We had an incredible time. But I want you to think about somewhere you can go. Maybe, and this is where if you really want to level up, I just finished recently speaking at the Celebrate Purpose Conference. Shout out to y'all. So many of the rare breed community there. So many people from my dear friend Becca Boston, who hosted this event with Monica Macias. These incredible human beings put this together for their incredible community and their family and their friends. And I was blessed to be able to come in and break bread and pour out. That was amazing. That was so remarkable to be able to be there. But sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is getting in rooms like that. And that's hard. It's hard for you to start thinking about going, because when I said go, the first thing some of y'all start thinking is, I can't do that because I got XYZ bills. I got this bill. I got that bill. I got this bill. I got that bill. I got more month than I got money. Uh-oh, we've been there before. I got more month left than I have money. My money is funny. It's not where I want it to be. How am I ever going to go anywhere if I don't have money? And what I want to tell you is, a lot of times, sometimes we just don't, for real, but sometimes we do. And it's about prioritizing. And so we would rather have that Starbucks drink today because these people is on my last nerve. I'm about to go into this office or this environment where I know they about to that last nerve I have, they're going to step right on it. So I'd rather have this $7 coffee and just deal and give me some espresso and go to my happy place and just have energy and cope than to put that $7 aside. Imagine if you had an urge every time to buy something. Chips at a gas station. Think about the little things. It might take you a year to save a fund, but if every time you wanted to stop at a gas station or somewhere and splurge a little bit on a drink, a soda, like a fancy water, I like to drink essential water. One of these people gonna hear this stuff and sponsor me when y'all make it go viral. I love drinking essential water. It is high performing water. They tell you so on the bottle. But you stop and you grab a bottle of that and you see the cost. You're like, oh Lord, if you start to add up those numbers, you have now added up what it would cost you to give yourself the gift of a personal development experience by going to a conference. You know, there are conferences in every state. All you got to do is Google. You can Google personal development events near me, conference near me, and watch what happens. Do it. I dare you. And find a way to get yourself in the room. There are so many conferences. If you just reach out, even if they ticket is $500 and you cannot afford an extra expense of $500, If you reach out to them and tell them, hey, I really want to be a part of this. It looks like something that would be advantageous for my personal growth and development. I live in the area. Could I even barter some time? Could I come and help you set up and maybe tear down in exchange for a ticket, a seat in the room? How many of those people you think are going to say no? Very few, fam. Some of them will say, don't even worry about serving. Come be served and just give you a ticket. I'm telling you, you know how I know? I freaking host an event. Me and Ashley Faye host an event, and there have been people who haven't had the resources to get in the room, and we don't turn them away. Come get in the room and get what's for you. Because if you want it, nothing is going to deter you and stop you from getting it. So somebody just need to hear this message. It's time for you to go. And when I say go, it's time for you to take the leap. It's time for you to do something for yourself. It's time for you to get out here and go. Get active. Get your feet wet, as Ashley Faye would say. Get out the boat. Get in the water. Get yourself in the game. Because you cannot win a game that you are unwilling to play. Yeah, I said it. And that leads me right to number 2. So you're going to go places, man. Go explore. Because the more you go, the more you know. And then that gets me right into number 2. Number 2 is be intentional. Be intentional. So you're going to go places, but don't just go places. So many people just go places. Even if you do go to an event and you just go and sit, you're the fly on the wall. You don't connect. You don't network. You don't say anything. You don't introduce yourself to anyone. You don't tell people about your voice, your story, your mission. You're just there. So you're never going to get the most out of an experience if you're not being intentional. Even if you're not going to a conference or an event, if you just go to a new environment, a new city, a new country, when you are there, be intentional with learning. Learn the culture. Learn what's happening around you, because that breeds inspiration and that breeds knowledge. And knowledge is an equalizer. Knowledge becomes power, and ultimately knowledge becomes wisdom when you apply the knowledge that you have. Oh, ooh, snap. I'm on it. I want you to literally be intentional with learning. Be intentional with the conversations you have with people. Even if you're just meeting new people at a networking event in your city, it didn't cost you nothing to go there. We have those in my city. Don't just sit in that room. Introduce yourself. If you don't have business cards, pay $10, $13 with shipping, and get you some business cards from Vistaprint. You can design it on Vistaprint. You can design them on Canva. They're competitive now. You don't even got to be a designer now. Just plug your information into a template, press print, and pay $15. And now you got like 500 to 1,000 business cards. Go in that room and you pass them things out. Because you are one connection away from your entire life looking different than it ever has. One. But you got to move with intention, because that is how you get to the more you know part. You start to know, your knowledge starts to expand. You start listening, you start taking notes, you start connecting. Somebody shares a piece of information with you that revolutionizes the game and changes everything for you. This is now you start to feel different. You start to feel like, oh, I know a little bit of something now. Oh, I know a little, like, come on, man. It was me going places, going to an event where I met Mr. Trent Shelton, where I learned so much about what it takes to do what we do, to be on camera, to be on stage, to tell a story in a compelling way, to have a podcast. He and I were talking about me starting my podcast, and he pointed me in the right direction. Those nuggets of information is part of why we are here today. But if I never went, if I didn't go, and if I wasn't intentional, because when I went, I had a VIP ticket to his experience. And I'm not gonna lie, if people is watching this who was a part of VIP in that experience, I'm sorry, I ain't trying to throw nobody under the bus. But what I'm saying is, he said, I am an open book. Ask me whatever you like. I swear to you, I was the only VIP in that room asking him questions. Hey, how you do this? How did you do that? How did you start? What did it look like in the beginning? What systems did you use? What software did you have? What editing do you use? How do you put captions? Now it's easy. This stuff is built in, but it wasn't at the time. He answered every question, giving me all the game in the world. And then I felt bad because I kept asking questions, because I'm going to be intentional with that time. So I stopped asking my questions and I waited to give somebody else a turn. Nobody asked a question. He's like, y'all not going to ask no questions? Finally, one other person decided to ask a question. You know what that question was? This individual said, "Hey, are we going to be able to get a picture with you?" And he's like, "Yeah, y'all can get a picture with me, fam. Everybody's going to get a picture." But he's literally sitting here telling you, like, you invested your dollars in this experience. I'm going to give you everything if you would just ask. And the only thing that anybody could think of was, can I get a picture with you? And so I was like, I got another question, but I was like, I don't want to dominate the room. And what he said was, you know what? The way I look at it, y'all can just sit here and look at me if that's what y'all want to do, or you can continue asking your questions. And so what did I do? I kept asking my questions, and I left that night with 7 pages of notes in a notebook I still have to this day. 7 pages of notes. Because I was intentional with that time. Go, get out, go places, go invest in yourself. You are the most valuable product you have. You are it, not in any possession you have. So you invest in your possessions. You invest in your car upkeep and maintenance. You invest in your house upkeep and maintenance. You invest in everything else except for yourself. Invest in you, and then be intentional when you go. Because intentionality is literally a key that changes everything. It's going to unlock some major doors for you. And that gets me right into number 3. You go, you be intentional when you go. And number 3, you grow. You grow. And the most important thing I can tell you about growth is, I want you to think about this. I used to do this exercise when I used to lead this group. And I always tell them, like, tell me name some things that grow. Like right now, in your head, you ain't got to say it out loud. What are some things that grow? I want you to think about things that grow. And I always get similar answers. I'm giving you do, 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 do. Right, I'm giving you some time. All right, now you've probably said your answers, or maybe you laughed at me and my little humming, you know what I'm saying? But when you name some things that grow, I always get the common answers. I get like fingernails, I get hair, I get all these different, I get people, babies, my all-time favorite, trees. I love trees. And then when we get to the end, I'm like, all right, now tell me the most important thing all of those things have in common. And I get some really incredible answers like, oh, man, you know, they're alive, they're living. I'm like, yep, that's a good one. And then they start to name all these things. But I'm like, you know, the most important factor in things that grow that they all have in common is that things that grow take time. They take time, my friend. And I wanted to give you this because some of y'all got started. You got started and you've been going hard. You've been giving everything you got. You've been showing up and you've been giving your gift to the world in a massive way. And then you find yourself like discouraged. You find yourself frustrated because you don't see the growth that you feel like you should. You're thumbing through TikTok and Instagram and you're looking around and you're like, man, why are they popping off? I've been working harder. They started after me and they already blowing up. When is it going to be my turn? And I want you to know that your journey is your journey. You can't focus on nobody else's journey. It's their time. We don't know what their journey entailed. We don't know how they got there. Shoot, half of them pay for that. That stuff ain't even real. Uh-oh, yeah, I'm stepping on toes. Some of the people that you admire so much, not all, but some, have taken the money that they got a tax return, and going right and paying some software for some fake robotic followers and traffic. I ain't even gonna get into that. But just know, stop comparing yourself. You don't know what's real and what's not. Just focus on you. Focus on your journey. Do it real. Do it organic. Don't sell out. Do it for the love and not for the likes. And know that just because you don't see the fruit, you don't see the fruit the day you plant the seed. You don't see the fruit the day you plant the seed. So you got to keep planting. You got to keep watering and make sure that you are in a growth environment. Because on the back end, shout out to my man, Finesse, 2 times on the back end. This is where you begin to see the fruit of your labor, but that takes time. If you were to plant a tree or a plant, my son and I did this experiment. We planted a plant that his teacher sent from school. And I'm not gonna lie, I almost threw that thing away multiple times because the seedling was not sprouting. But what you don't realize is that root is gonna grow deep under the ground long before it ever sprouts above the ground. So you're being rooted while you are building the foundations to literally sustain you in your structure as you go forward. This is why realizing growth takes time. Don't give up. Don't get tired. The next thing is sometimes we hit these patches of adversity. In those patches of adversity, we don't allow them to be fuel to help us grow. We say, well, maybe we were in over our heads this entire time, and we want to throw in the towel. Don't you dare think about throwing in that towel. Cause I'm gonna be the person in the corner throwing it back. You ain't no, you ain't done. Nope, get up and grow through what you go through. You got to grow through what you go through. You're going to go through things. That is inevitable. But as long as you are growing through those things, as long as you allow them to make you better, you're going to get up and you're going to keep growing and moving forward, keep expanding your territory and keep becoming what you want to become because you can. It ain't even time for that, but that was free. And the last thing I want you to do is never give up. Growth is a perpetual, never-ending process. Leaders are lifelong learners, and you will be growing until the day that you die. So that said, I don't want you to get tired of doing good. Don't get tired of the fight, man. You're going to have times where you get tired, but that's where you need a community. That's where you come to places like this to get that fuel, to get that shot of motivation, of inspiration, to get up and to keep taking steps every single day, because it is the steps that you take that will lead you to the destination of where you want to be in order to make your dreams a reality. So what I'm saying to you is back to what we said, don't grow weary in doing good, because in due season, you're going to reap that harvest if you don't give up. So somebody just needs to hear me say, due season is coming, family. Yeah, due season is coming. This is it. This is your time. This is your moment. Harvest time is on the way and due season is coming, but only if you don't give up. So whatever you do, you keep digging deep. You keep scratching, clawing, fighting, giving everything you got to grow and no more, and go be great because you can. Vitalize.